In your next match, you'll hit around 250 shots. And every fraction of an inch off the sweet spot you hit those shots makes you at greater risk of errors.
Seriously, my brain felt like it was a bit scrambled.
It's very noticeable to me.
And as a wise man once said, how you hit the ball matters. Where you hit the ball matters more. But when it comes to ball striking, where the ball lands on your strings matters the most. In fact, when you hit the sweet spot, you're guaranteed more power, more spin, better accuracy, and more consistency than if you don't. That's just physics. Think about the last time you hit the sweet spot and really nailed it, when it was clean.
I felt like I had all this time.
That was where the sensation, I'd look up, the ball is going exactly where I sent it.
In the world's first sweet spot study, pro tennis players missed the sweet spot 50% of the time. It just so happens that Grand Slam champions hit the sweet spot more often, especially under pressure. So if hitting the sweet spot more often is the difference between a Grand Slam champion and an elite player, then how do we train it?
It's a hybrid training system where 80% of the skills are now going to be developed off court and 20% will be done on court.
I'm going to start crying because I'm so grateful.
It was like, oh, wow, this is what I need to do every night.
And I'm telling you, like, my consistency now is different.
I noticed a difference so quickly.
5,000 sweet spot hits stored off court and another 1,500 on court. That's our 6,500 ball program for you.
Now you might be wondering, how does hitting a ball on a stick translate to a live ball coming from 78 feet away?
Like a high, heavy ball, for example, it isn't going to sit there nice and sweet for me here. It is transferable, and you just applying the same thing. You're still seeing the back of that ball, whether it's here, 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 or here.
And this is consistent with the research done on instincts at one of the leading eye-brain institutes in the world.
Like, it's been a profound change.
Deeply satisfying.
It's a 4-step process. Let's get started with step 1.
I started approaching Vimal.
Vimal is a revolutionary training system, and it stands for Visualize, Hit, Move, Look.
As the ball's coming towards you, you visualize where your target is going to be.
You have just learned the most important ingredient in ball striking. For the elite ball strikers, this separates them from the rest.
Then you hit, which is the H of the Vimal. And then as you move, you're still visualizing that target and your head stays completely still. And as soon as I started doing that, that was where it deeply satisfying.
These 6,500, you'll never hit a ball again in practice or in a tournament without putting the visual in and hitting it. And here's what step 2 looks like. It's a slow ball feed. The position thought is the number one thought for success for a Grand Slam player. Any thinking about hitting will affect their movement. Every thinking about movement will improve their hitting.
The eye is the centerpiece for everything we do. So not surprisingly, Grand Slam winners use their eyes better than the rest. They visualize, then they hit, then they move, and then they look, which is what the Vimal system helps you master. And this is exactly what we master in sweet spot brain training. Get these out of order, and we miss the sweet spot. This is what Grand Slam champions do better than everyone else.
5,000 or 6,000 balls later, I'm not even thinking about it. I can correct myself and I'm not worrying about it.
The research shows that club players miss the sweet spot 80% of the time while they're on a tennis court. And since the brain is always learning, most people are practicing missing the sweet spot. So you could have the best technique in the world, but if you don't learn how to consistently hit the sweet spot, it won't matter. Sweet spot brain training powered by Vimal is the first and only system that allows you to store sweet spot hits on 80% of your reps. Over the course of 5 weeks, you will rack up 6,500 sweet spot hits in just 10 hours.
Step 3 is your time to become instinctive. There's no time to be thinking about technique. You get 80% stored that are solid. On a court, we typically are storing the miss hits. Hybrid training, we are storing solid hits. We're on the court. It's where we want to be. Hybrid training builds up the reps like an astronaut before they get off into the space. We are doing exactly that. Here's how we're going to do it over the next 5 weeks. 30 minutes, we want you to be training without keeping score. And what we'll be measuring in our weekly conferences with you is what percentage did you increase your sweet spot hits? And when you miss hit, how quickly were you able to self-correct.
The reason Sweet Spot brain training powered by Vimal works so quickly is because in just 10 hours of hybrid training over the course of 5 weeks, you'll be storing 6,500 Sweet Spot hits. And as we both know, the Sweet Spot is the one difference that makes the difference when it comes to more power, more spin, better accuracy, and more consistency in every stroke you train. If you'd like to quickly and permanently improve any stroke or strokes in your game while learning to self-correct during the point, we're hosting a live webinar that'll show you how our students are doing just that using Sweet Spot brain training powered by Vimal.
I've already achieved my first quarter goal for 2023.
Being ready when I step up to the line.
It's 100% free to attend, and in this training, you'll learn the 3 keys that have allowed the players that you've heard from in this video to radically transform their strokes and confidence in just a few weeks.
I'm Sarah Stone, and I'm the CEO of the WTCA. What a terrific system. It's done wonders with kids that I've been working with from their very first hit all the way up to playing national level tournaments.
Court, I couldn't believe it.
I'm really making a breakthrough this week.
I couldn't believe
Right.
running wide for a forehand and then drilling it short, wide, cross court.
I'm still visualizing that part of the court. Then I'm looking up and I'm seeing the guy like just flailing around.
So if you're ready to make 2023 your best year ever, on and off court, register for this free training by clicking the button below right now.